Hello and welcome to the Ignited Fortitude podcast. We have Bobby and Aaron. It's like a rotating.
Yeah, that's right. Usually that's the only one that doesn't rotate.
Yeah.
But you know, it's in your blood. You're Mexican. You don't know how to not work.
Lolo, hey, same thing for Lolo, but Lolo's away right now. So.
Oh yeah, if he wasn't across the country, he'd probably be here too.
Oh, he would, yeah, for sure. So we didn't do a podcast last week because we had the Rise AZ concert.
Yeah,
and had a lot of different Christian artists here. It was cool. They
it's all your headbangers that you love.
Well, it wasn't just rock fest. I mean, there was some rap and everything else.
Oh yeah,
but I don't really listen to any Christian rap. But I'll be honest.
Chad does.
Chad's all about it,
Chad
dude.
was throwing me like all types of videos. He's like, "Oh, these dudes like these."
Yeah. So because we had service and I left after service, so I didn't catch some of them. And I heard because on Friday we went and set up and stuff like that. Man, yeah, like dude, Joe Nestor was awesome, and listening to some of those guys, SYL, he was pretty good. But I didn't get to catch some of the other guys, unfortunately. But I'll be honest, like I don't really listen to Christian rock that much. Like I love Spoken.
I don't either.
Like I've always liked Spoken when I've heard them, and I didn't realize. And there's other bands that came out that like Red. I don't know if you ever listened to Red. They're Christian. I didn't even. I was when I was in the world, and I was like, yeah, Skillet. I didn't know Skillet was a Christian.
I did not know. When you told me Skillet, I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I used to listen to Skillet before I was saved. And you were like, and they're Christian.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they're not. You were like, yes, they are.
Yeah,
I had no clue Skillet was Christian.
I didn't know. Flyleaf, dude. Flyleaf's a Christian also, dude.
I knew like, what is their name? Foot.
Thousand Foot Crutch.
No, it's another one. I'll remember it. But like, I knew they were, but like, yeah, a lot of bands.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands. So, hey, and you know what? Like, it was awesome. Got to see Brian Welch from Korn, which is cool.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, that was crazy, dude.
You could not have told me when I was 20 that, hey, you see that dude right there?
He's gonna become a Christian.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it's cool, man, because like I grew up playing drums, and like obviously you just, I mean, we covered Korn songs and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, that's really like, dude, he was so chill. So it was pretty cool, pretty neat. Cool. So that's why we didn't have a podcast. But I think I'm going to maybe we should do a thing where it's going to be, well, we'll just surprise people. But like we didn't record, so I put a teaching, and then like there was a lot of positive responses from just doing that. So I think we'll do.
Oh, you threw one of your sermons up there?
Yeah. So I think we'll do an episode and then do a sermon, do an episode, and then. Which is good because then people can hear you when you teach, right? When you give a sermon,
do it.
And then Lolo.
That's
so
what the Lord wants.
Yeah, I think it'd be good, man. I think we
got me up there, right?
That there is a reason why He's got you out there. They'd be like, Aaron, yeah, you should do that more often. That is the calling that the Lord has. Imagine that.
Sounds like you're telling me to submit my will to the Lord more, Roberto.
That's what I'm here for.
Thanks, Pastor. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're going to throw that one in there. Okay. Anyways, I guess we should probably get on with today's.
His wife doesn't like it when I call him Pastor. She gets worried. She's like, hey, whoa, I thought we were friends.
Yeah. Well, it's like when she calls me Robert.
Oh, yeah.
Or Valdez.
Yeah, that's never good. That's
never good. So, what do we
are in. So, currently at church, we are in 1 John. And you just did chapter 2, right?
Yep.
So, give us just in your eyes, an overview of 1 John. We're not doing 1 John, but there's something in it that kind of like sent me down a rabbit hole this week. So what's the overview of 1 John?
So little caveat before I like answered that question. I've always seen I see 1 John as the commentary for the Gospel of John, chapters 13 through 17. Like if you read those and then you read 1 John, it's like, whoa, like this is like the elaboration of what Jesus was trying to say. That's the way I've just always, right? So 1 John, practical Christianity, live, walk the walk, talk the talk. And I mean, you could say that's what the whole Bible is, but that's really what John's hitting at. Like, hey, you say you love one another. So how can you say you love God, but you hate your brother?
Yeah.
So it's very in your face. Hey, don't tolerate false teachers.
He goes hard to the false teachers.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Like, hey, you know what? Like, you need to mature in your Christian walk, and this is it. This is the roadmap for it.
Yes, very much so. So I was listening to a sermon by Tim Keller on Friday. And like normally, like if I'm listening to it and I pull up to the parking lot and get ready to go into the office, like I'll just like turn off the car and go, right? And not like sit. And the Lord was like,
You got something.
not today. Because like I park and I'm like, I'm not going in yet. Because he was going hard to the paint, right? And basically, he gets to this part and he goes, have you read at the end of First John? He goes the whole way to the end of it. You go into chapter 5, and it's the last verse of the book of First John, and it says it's 1 John 5:21, and he reads it and he goes, "Little children, guard yourselves from idols," and he goes, and that's the end of the book.
My
And-
God.
Yeah, and he goes, but here's the crazy thing. He's like, he doesn't mention idols throughout the first all those 5 chapters.
Yeah.
Like not once, right?
No, not once.
And so Keller, like this overwhelmingly intellectual pastor, he says, so I'm like, my brain's broken trying to figure out what in the world did he just do? And then he just starts pulling the thread, dude. And he's like, starts talking about how, what are the first 2 commandments?
You shall have no other gods but me, right?
And what's the second one?
And then the second one is to, I don't know, love the Lord.
With all your heart.
Yeah, right.
Both of them are about idolatry. So he goes, the first 2 commandments, not one, the first 2 are about idolatry. And he goes, brain broken again, because now he's like, whoa, what? Why? Because he says, whenever we sin, like all the other sins that we commit, we commit those first 2 sins first, every single time.
Yeah, that's broken, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
The sin of idolatry. Because remember, like when I was talking to you like a year ago, and I was like, bro, some dude on the internet just said that like racism is idolatry, and I had never heard that before. And then you were like, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean, yeah? I'm like, you gotta share with people? And you were like, yeah, it's you promoting yourself above whatever other race or
Yeah, 'cause it's-
or person or body size. And I was like, oh my
Well,
God.
it's sexism. Yeah, any of that.
Had no clue. And so then that's what he's basically expanding on. And I was like, oh. So then I do the whole, well, let me Google.
There you go.
So finally after the sermon's over, I go into the office and I Google. And I was like, I think I Googled how do I identify idols in my life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the AI instantaneously like throws this back and is like, it defines what an idol is, and it says an idol refers to anything that you value or rely on more than God or faith. And I was like, ooh. I was like, maybe I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, you know, I'm not like the Israelites. I'm not back there like throwing up hands to a calf. You know what I mean? Because that's what we often think that's what idolatry is. Is like, bro, I'm not worshiping a thing
Yeah.
and calling it God. That's not what idolatry is. So
Because it's hard, right? Like we were just talking about going through Judges, right? And Gideon's like tearing down, right?
Yeah,
the Asherah
the Asherah
pole.
pole.
And, yeah.
Yep.
You know, and so you think like, well, I don't have any of that. So it can't be that bad. But
that was the joke too. I think it was Keller, and he was like, we sit here now in the 2000s and are like, those clowns, they were worshiping calves and Asherah poles and this, that, and the other thing. And he goes, if they had the opportunity to look back at us and see what we worship, he goes, they would consider us to be even bigger clowns than them.
oh, well, think about it, like a Bronco, a Mustang, right? Like it's funny how those things are like still You know, I had heard one guy. I think I've told you this before, but there was a pastor that was like talking to somebody that was like a missionary in India, and in India they worship everything, like everything. They have all these gods, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, would you ever consider going to the United States? And they're like, no way. Like, they're like, you guys are saturated with idol worship. And he's like, are you serious? He's like, how do you figure that? And then I guess that person is just like, you need to take a look around. Because if you can't even realize that, right? And it's always easy to see like, well, look at how they do things. That's, but like we're going to talk about today is like, how do you make that assessment?
Because that's what it is, right? Because we always think, what's the joke though? What's the running joke right now in our men's Bible study? Killing it for Jesus.
It for Jesus.
I'm killing it for Jesus. And it's like, no, you're not. And Jake always says it too. He's like, bro. He's like, I take 2 steps forward, and then he goes, and then something else is revealed, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. Bro, same thing.
Dude, Billy Graham, right? Billy Graham says like, hey, he realizes his sin more now. The more that he's been mature. Well, obviously not now but at the time when he said it, right? It's Billy Graham. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, dude, because the closer you draw, like it's more, it's easily exposed.
Yes. Yeah. So I get this article where, because this information starts to come from the AI generated thing, right? It says, examine your heart. What do you truly love? And what do you seek for fulfillment? What takes up your thoughts and time? And what do you fear losing? So I'm like, instantly, I hit this thing and I go to this article because it says, how do you expose the idols in your life? And I'm like, oh, here we go. And basically, they just hit on the 3 big things, right? What do you love? What are you spending your time on? And that's whether it's actual time spent or time in thought, right?
Yeah.
Towards it. And then, do you fear to lose that thing, right?
Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't think about it this right now either until you said that. Spending your time, and what do you spend your money on? Well, you did say right. Because you even said
we'll get to that. Yeah, because it's a time or money type of a thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it encompasses the same thing. So me, because you know me, I got like I gotta get this in a graph or something. Like that. So I basically wrote the 3 categories, right? Like, am I afraid to lose it? Do I love it? And am I spending time or money at it, right? And throw 3 lines down, and then I just started writing. I prayed first, and I was like, all right, Lord, just tell me what things in my life might possibly, because I'm like softballing this, like might possibly, if I've got idols, fall into this, you know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure I ain't got none.
That's funny,
bro. And it was like right off the bat, I like write down golf, and then I was like, "Do you love it?" Well, yeah, I love it.
But I don't love it. Right. I love it, but it's not like that.
And so then I got to, would you fear if you lose it? And I was like, of course not. I wouldn't fear if I lose it. Whatever. That's crazy. Then it's, do you spend time or money on it? I'm like, oh, I spend a lot of time and money on it. Right as I get done checking, spending a lot of time and money on it, the Lord's like, and you wouldn't be afraid to lose it if I hit you with some ailment. Yeah, I'll be afraid to lose it. 3 out of 3, right? Oof. And I'm like, so that's an idol in my life. Like, you can't soften that, right? There's
yeah. I mean, yeah. You got to call what it is.
You have when
right, because again, 1 John. I'm glad you said that, right? What did he say? Like, if we claim we have no sin, we're only fooling ourselves.
Right.
So, and we're only fooling ourselves and not living in the truth. I'm not living in the truth. Mm-hmm. So if I'm not living in the truth, I am living the lie. Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm only fooling myself. I'm not fooling anybody else. Because here's the thing. You're like, I wonder if golf is my idol. I guarantee you, if we asked your wife, like, "Hey, do you think golf is an idol for Aaron?" What do you think she would say?
100%.
Yeah, well, there you go, right? So here's the
even
thing.
hesitate.
So there you go, right? Like that's like that whole stance right there. You're only fooling yourself because guess what? Everybody else sees it,
Yep.
but you
Yep.
try to be like, "Nah, it's not. It's fine."
Yeah, 100%. And then like I just started listing other stuff. I'm not telling y'all. I don't know y'all like that. No, I'm joking. But I started listing other stuff like finances.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was like finances, security, because I knew it wasn't money anymore. Like he cured me of that one.
Yeah.
Like because I used to be, I wanted to straight up 100 be rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that. So I'm like, I don't want to put money down because that's not it. I was like, finances.
Yeah, but what
like
does-
the
yeah, 'cause it's-
security of what I get from having money?
Yeah, because who wants like if there's a bunch of money, you're not going to be like, oh, I want this money, and I'm going to go like lay in bed and hold it. You know what I mean?
I used to want to do that.
Well, then, so okay, well then,
Call me McDuck.
yeah, there you go, right? Scrooge, right? So okay, so I've never thought like that, right? But
No.
But you know what I'm saying? Like it's the things that it's going to provide for you, though.
Yes.
And dude, here's the thing: like it's not even people that like have a lot of money. Even people that are broke, like money is their idolatry, right?
Yes.
Because it's you know it's so it doesn't.
Yeah. This was all when I was broke. Like, I wanted money. And why did I want money? Because I believed that money was going to elevate my status,
Yeah, it changed your identity.
my ego. Because I will tell you this one. So, golf, finances, there were some other ones in there. I started checking these different things, right? And everything on the list except for one thing was either 2 out of 3 checks or 3 out of 3 checks. Which to me, like we were discussing before, if it's 2 out of 3, it's an idol, right? If you either love it, either fear that you're going to lose it, or spend a lot of time, you spend your time and money on it, and it's any 2 of those 3 things, like
Yeah,
possibly an idol, right?
yeah, and you know okay, so in the New King or NASB, it's like, hey, don't put idols in that last verse. How does yours read it?
So mine
Stay
says,
away from idols or something?
Yeah, little children, guard yourselves from idols. Period. Like, what's yours
So New
say?
Living Translations, like, dear children, keep away from anything that might take God's place in your hearts.
Because that's what an idol is.
That's what an
right?
idol is, yeah.
It's taking the place of what God is attempting to do with you, right?
Yeah.
Or it's taking the place of your faith and trust that you put in Him.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one. Like right now in my mind, there's that that passage. It's in Kings, right? Elijah cures Nahum. Well, the Lord cures Nahum, but right, Nahum comes to Elijah, cures him, right? And Nahum wants to, like, hey, bye, like, hey, thank you for this. Here's all these things, and he's like, no. He's like, we're good. He's like, you can move it along. Like, you know what I mean? The Lord healed you. It's good. And he did it for whatever reason. But Elijah's servant was like,
Oh, he went out and got the money.
he goes back out and like, the master changed his mind. There's some guys that, you know what I mean? And then, Elijah's like, bro, this isn't the time for this. You know what I mean? He's like, and guess what? The leprosy that he was cured from, now you haven't. You know what I mean? And what was the deal? Because
what was the servant putting his faith and trust in?
Exactly. And it's like, dude, if you don't think God can provide, like God can heal this guy and see it, you don't think He can provide for you what you need, right? And that's the thing. He's not going to give you what you want, but He will provide what you need.
He will give us what we need all day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. So I get the comprehensive list. And like I said, only one thing out of all of the things that I put on there, I could kind of say like, yeah, no. I like had one check for it, right? And so to me, that's like keep watch over it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't turn into an idol.
Yeah.
Because it's not like these things like can't be removed from the Lord, but at the same time, what's the converse of that? well, if we're not diligent, then they can become.
They will become, yeah.
Right.
They will overtake you. Well, and that's why he says, right? Don't be what? Say, don't. How does he say it? How does he end it in yours?
Little children, guard yourselves from idols.
Right? Guard yourselves. Like, you have to. Yeah, and that's the thing, right there. Like what you just did right there. Because what did you do? You brought it into the light.
Yeah.
Right? You brought it into the light because now you're aware of it. Because most. Right. If we're honest, like now I'm going to have to do that assessment. Right. Because it's like, if you don't identify it, like you're just like, you're not wanting to come to terms with it, and you're not going to bring it into the light.
Dude, I was sitting at my desk at work. Thank God I work in a cubicle. Just tears, bro. Like feeling like absolute crap. I felt like a disgusting, horrible person because I was like, oh my gosh. Because if I'm honest, I'm like, I'm gonna do this list and maybe there's an idol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll give you one idol, Lord. How bad is that? And he's like, okay, I got you, buddy. I still love you, Aaron. Just keep writing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is crazy though because so he says that verse 21 and then verse 20 because you want to always bounce it off of it, right? And we know that the Son of God has come and has given us understanding so that we may know him who is true. And we are in him who is true, in his Son, Jesus Christ. This is the true God and eternal life. Little children, guard yourselves from idols. Like, he basically is like, look, you don't, because what I just heard someone say it. They were like, I don't live for Christ. My life is Christ.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, I never heard of it like that before.
Well, that's like Paul, right? To live is Christ, to die is gain.
Die is gain. And it's like,
I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but he that lives. Yeah.
Because it's like it amplifies it to like Christ isn't part of your life.
Yeah,
he's either your life or he's not.
Yeah, because like abiding in it, right? Like you can't abide in it and then not. You know what I mean? It's like. You're either in your car or you're not in your car when it's driving. It's like you can't be both. And if you're in both, you're going to have some severed limbs. Right. You know what I mean?
Like, is there any part of my life that the Bible allows me to say, oh, well, you can keep that for yourself?
No.
Right?
It really doesn't.
No. And I wish I could sit here and tell you, I'm like 100% like all my life is like submitted to the Lord. And it's not. Like now, thankfully, I can at least say that like compared to 10 years ago, I'm probably on the plus side of percentage of submission to the Lord. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, but am I 100? No chance. There's zero chance. And this is so you ready for the kicker?
Oof, no.
You're not ready for the
kicker.
No,
I'm not.
So I run through that list. Tearing, because I'm not gonna snot on myself at work. But I was feeling bad. I was feeling overwhelmingly bad. Because I, like I said, had expected like
maybe
something. Because I'm killing it for Jesus. My gosh. And I get to the end of the list. And so I'm processing these different things. And then the Lord's like, so then that's it? That's the end of the list? And I'm like looking at all these different things. And then I was like, no. I was like, and I wrote down the final thing on the list. I wrote me. All of those things pertain to me. Because here's the thing, because the kicker was it's the love category, right? And I couldn't like put down because it asks you in the article, like, what do you love? And oftentimes, because I deal in depression, like, I go, oh, I hate myself, blah, 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 blah. But
That's
when
actually
I,
loving yourself. Yeah.
thank you, because when I start looking at this stuff, I'm like, well, all that stuff, it's me, it's for me. So I'm idolizing myself because, well, why do I want to be good at golf? So I can throw it in somebody else's face and boost my ego.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want to have all these finances? And once you start hitting every single one of them, it's all this pride and ego in me that I'm boosting up. And so
dude, this is a whole nother like rabbit trail, right? Now that you just said that. Because the reason, like you said something, right? Like when you battle, depression, you know what I mean? You battle like feeling sorry for yourself, right? What was me? And again, you're the focus. So then you do something else in order to boost do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you do it
100.
and it's so like even the idols, right? And that's, and here's the thing, like even with the 10 Commandments, right? Like, because that's where you have to start with, because that's like he said, right? Like that's what you're going to break. But if like love God, right? Don't love anything else. Love, I mean, you only have one God. You know what I mean? And
but why does he say to only have one God?
Because you're always going to, because you've probably heard Tim Keller say this too, right? Like we are an idol factory, and we just pump out idols, dude. Which, because it's us. Yes. You know what I mean? And all those things are a part of us. You know what I mean? So like even that part, like what is the cure for it? Well, the cure isn't to like, oh, well, I don't need it. Well, because then either way, you're still at the point. It has nothing to do with that, right? Because here's the thing, like I've heard it before, right? Like if you have if everything that you like love and cherish, you're like holding in your hand, and you're just like, well, I got to stop loving, I got to stop. But if you have the Lord on the back of your hand, right? Just turn to Him, and then all those things go away. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
that makes sense, right?
You just let it. You dropped it.
Yeah. Because guess what? Like it's on this side. Like I'm not even seeing it because that's where my focus is. And so like where you're focusing, right? That's where that's going to go. So that's okay. So how do we combat it? And that's ultimately what it is, right? Like, I need to
combat idolatry with the true God of the universe.
Exactly.
It's the only way you combat it.
And Tyler, dude, I love that Tyler said it in Minsker, right? It's a worship problem.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
That's what it is, because you're either worshiping me, because even like, right, because it's not golf. It's
because just like our addictions, right? Like, why do I get drunk? Why do I smoke weed? Why do I do whatever addiction it is? Chase women, this, that, the other. Why am I doing this addiction? It's to deaden whatever's inside, right? Why? And it's the same thing. With these idols, right? Why am I chasing these idols,
dude?
Go.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Because instead of turning my faith and trust to the Lord for that protection, I'm turning to these other things. And then in our world, we're doing we play the game. Well, no, it's just golf. I ain't out getting smashed like this dude over here. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And the Lord's like, whoa. That's their thing. Yeah. Let's deal with your thing.
Yeah. So go to chapter 2, verse 15.
Okay.
Go ahead and read it.
Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Keep going.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, the boastful pride of life, is not from the Father, but is from the world.
So he might not have said idols or idolatry at the end, but this is it right here.
That's 100% it.
That's it right. That is it right there, right? Don't love this world.
Yeah, it's the lust of the flesh
lust of the
the
eyes.
lust of the eyes,
pride
and
of
the
life.
pride of life.
That's what we're going to talk about next week, dude, because it's like that was the one that was the same temptation that Jesus had in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It's the same temptation that Satan came with Eve at it.
Yes.
And it tells it.
Yeah.
She saw the fruit and it was pleasing, lust of the eyes, right? What did he tempt her with? If you have this, you will be like God. Right? So the pride of life, right? Lust of and then lust of the flesh, the pride of life. What is it going to do to me? Then I will be able to know and do and get. And it's like, again, going back to that, when Satan tempted her, he said, if you do this, you will be like God.
Yeah.
But if she would have been true to her word, right, and abided in the word,
Right.
when Adam and Eve were created, they were created in what?
In God's image. So you were already there.
I'm already there.
You're already
I can't
there.
get any closer to being in or like God. I can't get any closer to him because I was already made like that.
In his image.
In his image. I think of an idol. An idol is an image.
100. Yep.
Right? Because think
is
about it,
an
like
image.
when I desire something, it's the image that it's going to bring me. It's going to lead me to that.
Because it 100% gets down to my image. I mean, every last one of those things was about me and my image, what it does for me in projecting that mask or that lie that I want to project
That's
about
it.
who I am.
That's it.
When the Lord's like, no, you're this. Yeah, but the world says I should be this.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're this, and I made you this, and I'm moving you along and perfecting you in this. Yeah, but the world says, and right there, that's what he says. Do not love the world, nor the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Yeah.
He like definitively tells us, yeah. Like steer clear of what the world says is run off the list. Success.
Yeah.
Happiness. I mean, just keep on going. Like it's crazy town.
Well, and think about it, like the book, right? In chapter 1, at the end of verse 4, he's like, hey, like all these things are written so that your joy may be full. Right? Like he's letting them know, like this is the purpose of life. This is what life, and eternal life is Jesus Christ, right? He goes into that.
Yes. What's the world say that it is?
Oh, you want joy? Guess what? Do you? You do you.
It's every commercial that's on when I'm watching football or any other sports thing. It's like, get drunk, do this thing because chicks will love you, do this thing because you'll be rich and popular. It's just crazy.
You'll get the status, yeah.
Constant.
And so,
And I thought all those things were going to bring you joy.
yeah, but that exactly right. You thought it was going to bring you joy, and for a moment, guess what? Because sin is pleasurable,
Yeah.
right. And for a moment, those things are but bro,
Yeah.
like,
And when I woke up the next day and was wrecked for a day and a half, then I'm like, ugh.
and those things that you sought after to bring you pleasure will become the things that will keep you in prison.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Chains, right?
Oh yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
what
Chains.
Paul describes it?
Yeah.
Chains.
Yeah, is it chain? It's crazy. It's simple, right?
So
But
what's the answer? Because we've just told you, like, look, it's pretty clear. You can identify it. Just Google how to identify my idols, and there's all types of websites that you can go to.
I think the way that you plotted it out was perfect, dude.
Yeah. So what's the next step? Because now the Lord's clearly been like, it's this, that, and this. So now, okay, I've identified these horrible things in my life. Now what?
So I saw a dude giving like a sermon illustration. He had like two guys, right? And he had like $100 bill. He had two $100 bills, and he like gave $100 bill to this person. He's like, well, he shows it. He's like, all right, here we go. He's like, is there anything wrong with this right now? He's like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like this thing right here, this like, this object isn't doing anything. He's like, but what happens when I put it into the hands of this person? He's like, if this person has a hard time and is going to use it for drugs or you know what I mean? He's like, that's where the issue is. He's like, but if I give it to this person that's like, oh, like, cool, I'm going to go donate it, or I'm going to use it, you know what I mean? And it's like, and think about it. Like, that's what the Lord did with us. He redeemed us, right? So like, you got to be able to put it in buckets, right? So is this redeemable or do I need to reject it? Right. So yeah, you enjoy golf, but how can you use and still enjoy golf, but to a point where it's beneficial? It's not a stumbling block for you. You're not consuming, you know what I mean? It's not overtaking you. Well, I know that you play plenty of golf, with guys from our men's group. So you can use that as an opportunity for ministry because, like, yeah, we can sit down and have a conversation like we're having, but as guys, we like to be doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. So like that's beneficial. You can redeem that. You know what I mean? You pick other things, right? Like, so how can the Lord use this to redeem it? Dude, I've seen like, yes, money's difficult because we work for it, right? And so all these things, dude, but I've seen you where you're like, hey, it's not my time. It's not my money. You know what I mean? What else do you say? Not my time, not my money.
Not my time, not my money.
You know what I mean? And so to those degrees, and I've seen you reluctantly sometimes, right? When it comes to certain things, right? It's like, bro, like you're not going to, whatever it is. And you're like, fine. So, which is all good, dude, right? It's all good. But again, right? Because like you said, right? Like just recently, you're like, I say it, but sometimes the Lord checks me on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's not my time, then it's not my time.
Yeah.
So then I need to do what the Lord tells me to do in that time. You know what I mean? And so it's just, it's those things because like, dude, it's part of our growth and maturity. It's part of our sanctification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how, here's the difference. Like what is a 3-year-old versus a 13-year-old versus a 30-year-old in not a perfect world, right? But like in the idealistic way of things, that person is being less selfish.
Right.
That's how you mark somebody's maturity, right?
Yep.
It's the fact that they're willing to, display
to
self-control and exactly. You know what I mean? So what's the difference? How can you sacrifice those things? Well, here's the big kicker, right? I have to be, you listening, watching, you have to be at that point where it's like my identity, because it's an identity thing. My identity comes from Christ.
Right.
And
my
that
identity
is good enough.
Christ. Yep.
Yeah. And that is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's where I started going with it. It was like, okay, so then if I'm not going to spend time or excessive amount of time golfing, then what am I going to do with that time? And then he was like, oh, I don't know. Why don't you spend it with your family? Why don't you read the word? And I was like, all right, Lord. Track it on that one. And then I just kept walking down the list, and it was like, you just keep walking down the list. And then it's like, all right, I'm going to need your help on this one, though, because if I've put my faith and trust in like the security of my job and my finances, then I'm like, that means I gotta put my faith and trust in you, Lord, and not in that. You've got to transfer that. I don't have the ability to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can't just.
And that's a good point, right? And that's why, being a good steward of what you have had and what you do have is super important, right? Because for a person that, like, oh man, the Lord's blessing me with all this stuff. Well, that means I can just go ahead and buy all this other stuff. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. You know what I mean? But if you get to that place where, and you and your wife are good about it, right? Like, it's like, hey, we're on a track record and we're trying to do these things and be good stewards of what God has given us. And it's not my time, it's not my money. And so, okay, Lord, like I want to do what's right. Well, guess what? If something unforeseeable happens, hey, you know what, Lord, okay, you've been preparing us for this and to be it. It's going to hurt, especially because it's a lifestyle change. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I was like, look, Lord, I was like, I'm not asking you to joke me. I was like, I'm not asking you to joke me. I was like, but I am saying that if that's the decision you want to make and that's what I need to get right in this situation, I was like, then I need you to please help me maintain my faith and trust in you through the process.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like, I'm not asking for, like, I've already made that mistake before. Oh, try me, Lord. Oh, no. Lord was like, try and come your way. Like, here's the curveball. And I was like, what?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But like, so am I gun shy? 100%. Because I'm like, oh, that was arrogant of me. But you preach about it all the time. And I hear lots of people preach about it all the time. Like, we have to be acceptant of the fact that the Lord's will is the Lord's will, even if it goes against what we want.
Yeah.
Even if it goes against our will, you know what I mean? Especially because, I mean, that's how it goes, right? We come to him with an expectation of, well, I'm looking to get this, that, and the other thing from you, Lord. So if you could do it in this order. And he's like, oh, I got you.
Oh, you want to what?
Yeah. It's not going to be like that, though.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing with James, right? Like, hey, don't be saying that you're going to do this a year from now and everything else. It's like, hey, if the Lord wills it.
If the Lord wills it.
And you just have to plan. And I'll tell you what, dude, like, here's the thing. When the Lord says my grace is sufficient, and this is what, I mean, when we had our, like, hard change and it was like, oh, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to trust the Lord more than I'm going to trust in myself. Because guess what? I could have stayed in a position because I wanted to try to be comfortable.
Correct.
Nah.
Correct.
Lord's going to provide.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he has.
That was a big step for you, right?
Yeah, of course it was, dude.
Because like because initially the thought process was like, bro, I can't be giving up this level of cash, right?
Yeah, especially
this level of pay.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It was a significant amount of pay. Right. So it's like, I can't, like, I got all these things. It's like, dude, you know what? Okay, all right, Lord.
How long did it take you to work through that?
I'll tell you what was helpful. That my wife and I were both on the same page.
That is always helpful.
So it was that much faster to be able to, like, no, this is the right thing. That's it. You know what I mean? And she's like, sell the car. I don't care. Get rid of it.
So like both of y'all
so we're both like,
Because then think about that. Because then it starts to turn to well, what can I do, according to like the Lord's will, but what can I do in this situation? And that's what it is, right? I heard a dude, he basically, when he started out as a minister, they were poor, him and his wife, in this like 1-bedroom apartment type of a thing. And for some reason, the Lord was like, give your neighbor X amount of money. And the dude's like, but Lord, like that's our rent. Like we're already like eating struggle flakes, and he's like, but like that's our rent. Like that makes me a bad steward type of a thing. And the Lord definitively was like, this isn't a question.
Ooh.
And so he gives it, and his wife is incensed. She's like, are you on crack? What are you doing? Like, we're working at the church. We give all types of stuff that we don't have. that was our rent, you know, and he said he didn't understand. He was like, the Lord told me I had to do it, and he was like, so we've got to put our faith and trust that the Lord's going to get us through this. Chip Ingram, that's what it was, and he says, a week goes by, another week goes by, and now the rent's coming due at the end of this week, and the money's not coming. And he's like, I was incensed with the Lord. Like, what are
Why
you
would you have me
doing
do that? Yeah.
right now? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And then the Lord said to him, like, oh, that's a nice TV you got on the wall there. That's a nice couch. That's a nice, and he was like, he said he completely broke down, started crying, and then they sold the couch. They sold like the TV. They sold something else that was not a need, and it was the exact amount they needed for the rent. He's mind blown. He said, because we don't want
Yeah.
to
We don't release it.
We don't want to, because like it's like we don't want to internalize and go, what do I need to do to move forward in this process?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Mind boggling. Because it's always Lord, you know, it's like, send me the helicopter, send me the boat.
Yeah,
you know? No. Get up off the roof. Yeah.
Well, you know, and even right now that you said that, it's like you think of Gideon, right? And it's like, no, you got too many men. Like, what? He's like, yeah, send some of those away. He's like, because you guys are going to boast about that you guys did it and stuff. And he's like, okay, like, all right,
He
you guys go.
definitively said, I want to ensure that you know it was me that did this.
And that's it. And he took it. Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah. Dude. I mean, I can see that I can see the Lord doing that in my life. And look, dude, like
I've seen it several times.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh gosh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like, that's the way that we should be, man. Like, dependent on the Lord. It's scary. Dude, it is
terrifying.
Yeah, because we want to walk by sight. We don't want to walk by faith.
Yeah, you're my friend. You know me. You're just running too fast on the path to see anything anyway. You're like, I don't know, man. I can't see. I'm a former Marine.
Last time I was in control, dude, I made a mess of my life. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude,
right?
Like, I've surrendered and I've seen what the Lord has done. It's like, dude,
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Why would I do anything else? Where else am I going to go, Lord?
Where else am I going to go?
Like, you're going to tie me on the back of a truck, dragging me. Like, I get it, you know what I mean? But we're going to get there, and it's all good.
Where else am I going to go? I've been to all the other shops. When the lights come on, it's ugly up in there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? Yeah.
Well, as always, man, good talk.
Good talk. Very good talk.
Good talk. Well,
for anyone listening or watching, go evaluate. Take some tissues with you, but ask the Lord to show you the idols that are in your life, because I thought I had none, maybe one.
So what is it? Do you love it?
Do you love it? Do you spend time or money on it? And that can also transform into a whole, like, are you thinking about this thing? Because it's not just the tangible. It's also intangible things, right? Like fame, fortune,
like
success.
Like, what do you daydream about, right? Like you were saying,
Yep. And then, do you fear to lose it?
Boom.
And you gotta be honest. And you might be surprised what the Holy Spirit gives you. But we'll be praying for you.
Well, how about you pray us out?
I will do that. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to even have a relationship with you, and to open our hearts, open our minds, submit our wills. And when we do, you lovingly and graciously and mercifully show us the truth. Show us who you are, and show us who we are. And sometimes that hurts, but you are a loving and gracious God But God demonstrates his love towards us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Every time I hear that, everything else doesn't matter. All the pain goes away, and I realize the unmeasurable amount of love that you have for me and for everyone else walking this earth, dear Lord. Thank you. Praise you. Pray that your truth finds the ears of whomever it is whose door you're knocking on, dear Lord. And I pray that you draw them closer to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.